for PGA Sports in association with the PGA Tour. Well, the waiting is over. We are about to get started here today. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. We'll be calling the action for you. Frank, the golfers look ready to go. What kind of player is best suited here at the Sawgrass?
You have to be an all-round player, and plus, you've got to be a very good strategist. Getting your golf ball around TPC Sawgrass is extremely difficult. You've got to know exactly where the wind is coming from and where the pin location is on each and every hole.
First hole here at TPC Sawgrass, 423-yard par 4. Nice way for players to get started, Frank. Not too demanding, but still, it requires that you put the golf ball off the tee in the right place.
That's correct, Rich. There is a little bit of water down the right, but that's only really for the grandmothers in the field. Anybody else, drive it down the left, 3-wood, even a 2-on if you're a longer hitter, and then a good chance to start with an opening birdie.
Really like that action. Lively golf swing. Good strike, good lie, good chance to attack the pin. Frank, the approach shot here at the par 4 first. What's the right way to attack?
The much easier flag is down that right side because you can run that ball with the slope to that low side. Tough flag on the left.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. Settles in over the putt. 1 under early in the round. Frank, what do you make of the par 5 second?
Doglegs to the left, so there's a decision to be made here all the time, but a good hooking tee shot. That takes the trees on the left out of play and even the rough on the right. Good tee shot here. I've seen people get home with as little as a 5-iron.
Right out of the center of the bat.
Did you hear that? Oh, that's fine.
That's an absolute tracer right there. In the fairway and well over 320 yards. What a shot. Setting up for an eagle here. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. So, Frank, what do you think of the start so far?
Rock solid. Very impressed.
Frank, a nice mix of holes to start. So here we go with a par 3 at the third.
Very narrow at the front of the screen, and that bunker too. You don't actually see it off the tee, the back left bunker, and it sneaks into that left side. So if that flag is on the left, just be careful.
This one has a chance to be close. Well, she just played a wonderful shot from back there. Looking to make a move. This putt for birdie. Drops another birdie and moves to 4 under on the day. So much focus here, Frank, on 16, 17, and 18. Number 4 is a hole that gets overlooked, but it's a fun one.
Yeah, the second shot here is more daunting, especially when that flag's on the left. So you really do start looking at that blue stuff, water.
Excellent start off the tee. That's a great way to begin this hole. Frank, the second here at the fourth is a dangerous shot.
Once again, this is another example of where you have to look at the green. Where exactly is the flag? If it's on that high portion, you've got to fly it all the way back.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. Beautiful shot. That is tight.
Unbelievable. That is one to savor for the rest of the round.
Frank going for another birdie here.
Just to get on a real roll.
Bang, bang, back-to-back birdies. Fifth hole, good par 4, isn't it, Frank?
If ever a hole was built for Lee Trevino, who used to love to cut it, this would be the hole. It just looks and screams for a shot that's hit left to right. And that's the only way really to avoid bunkers left and long, and that one that's all the way down the right side. Oh, I like that.
She's ended up on the fairway, and it's such a good lie. So many more options available now. Frank, as players get set for the second shot here at the fifth, what are they thinking?
You have to be precise with the second shot. You miss it long and left. Very, very difficult chip there. And, of course, short and right. In amongst those moguls and the bunker, it's tough to get it up and down.
Good chance now for a birdie. That was an outstanding play.
Well, it's almost a guarantee there after that shot.
Frank, this would jumpstart the round. The third straight birdie.
Some good playing.
Another shortish par 4, the 393-yard par 4 sixth. Frank, what's the challenge here?
Well, there's two bunkers down the left, but that's not really the problem. If you hug that left side, there's palm trees that come into play on that second shot.
Ideal position, sitting up perfectly. Frank, no reason here to think we're going to see anything other than another good shot.
Yeah, in a great flow, and golf like this looks easy.
Birdie try up next. Getting set now over the putt. Has to be feeling good right now. Looks good with 2 straight birdies and 7 under on the card. Seventh hole here at Sawgrass. Frank, a bit uncomfortable off the tee.
It is. It reminds me a little bit of the opening hole, much longer version, where when you stand on the tee and look at the green, it's a straightaway hole. But that fairway goes to the left and it comes back to the right. But they're all optical illusions.
That is tasty looking right there, Frank. Just a perfect spot in the fairway.
That is prime real estate. How do you get a lie like that? Seriously, you could hit any club from that. Day today. Rich, I'm starting to lose count. This is just birdie after birdie.
It's all-time stuff. I mean, this is territory we just don't visit very often. Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. Oh, just a superb shot.
You're not going to see much.
Count it as 6 birdies for the day. Frank, 17 here at TPC Sawgrass gets all the attention when you look at the par 3s, justifiably so. But number 8 is a daunting challenge in its own right.
It is, longest of the 4 par 3s, plus it's just littered with bunkers around the side, the back, and the front.
Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
That was a solid strike and a good result. Shouldn't be a problem here. That's birdie, and that's just another example of how everything seems to be clicking today, especially on the greens.
Yeah, good green reading too. You've got to take your hat off to that. The line has been perfect and the pace has matched it.
What a tremendous display of power and precision. Now the second shot to the par 5. Not a huge miss, Frank, but did lose this just a little to the right.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to catch a piece of the green, though.
That one came right off the center of the club face. Another good shot, about 10 feet away. 11 feet away. Man.
Just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Frank, how many is this? I've lost count.
I'm running out of fingers. It's a handful plus 2 more. This for 7 in a row.
Getting set now for the back 9 here at TPC Sawgrass. Frank, what should we expect?
Well, there's a good run of holes. 10, obviously, very birdieable. 11th, the par 5. 12th, a short par 4. A good chance to get this round really going.
Well, this looks good.
Certainly is.
You can play it from there, 300 yards away and in the fairway. 17 for most professionals, Frank, is a wedge or at most a 9-iron. That's a simple shot. What makes it so difficult?
Well, several things. The fact that the color of the hazard is yellow, which is a water hazard, so if you know your rules, then if that ball lands on the green and pitches in the lake, you have to go to a drop zone. You don't get to just drop it on a piece of land. And so even for the best players in the world, there's intimidation and there's embarrassment at stake.
You know what I love about 17? It is really simple. Wet or dry, and on Sunday afternoon late, win or lose. Well, the great hits just keep coming. Moves to minus 11 on the day. Hole number 11, 558 yard, par 5. Frank, players in attack mode here.
Yeah, just try and blitz it down there. There are other bunkers on the left to consider, but really, with that much fairway, this is a green light opportunity.
Nice position, short grass, second shot. Should be pretty good right there. On the safe side. Couldn't have done much better than that. An eagle is very possible. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Down to the par 4 12th, and it's a pretty short hole, Frank.
Yeah, Pete Dye often doesn't get enough credit for his short par 4s, though. This is a great example where one of the features of it is the blind second shot, just to give you a little bit of doubt on judging the distance.
She really hit that tee ball nicely. It is in perfect position, and now she'll have a chance to capitalize. Now the approach to the 12th. Frank, what's the player looking at?
Well, it's a fun shot here for the second shot, especially if you've driven it down the right side, because then you can see the flag no matter where it is on the green.
What a display of shot-making this has been, Frank.
Oh, that incredible approach shot there. The easiest of birdies coming up.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie. And what a day it's been. Frank, so much focus on the back 9 here at the stadium course at TPC Sawgrass on the 17th hole with the island green. I think 13 gets lost sometimes, but the pros know this is a really good hole.
Oh, it can be disastrous too. That's, I think, what you're referring to, Rich. There's a big ridge in the middle of the screen that bisects the top side with the bottom side on the left. So even when the flag's on the left, you don't have to go directly at it, because that normally causes the problem with the wooden bulkheads down the left side and obviously the water left of that. So something on the ridge can often run down towards the left. But we have seen the odd hole-in-one here over the years. straight, too.
Beautiful. Frank, historically in this great championship, 14 has proven to be a pivotal hole.
Everybody focuses on the finish here, but you're absolutely right, Rich. This can be an absolute scorecard record because if you spin your drive left, the drop back, perhaps on the ladies' tees, you can make 6 in a heartbeat. You try and air to the right, you can make 6 from the mounds. So a good drive down 14 gives you a chance for that fast finish.
Interesting, with the almost space-age advancements in golf equipment, what with new, lighter materials, and with the increased focus on fitness and strength, players are hitting the ball longer than ever. That has forced architects to lengthen the golf courses without sacrificing the integrity or the shot value of the original design. Here we go. That is classy.
They had a chance of going in.
Frank, 2 is nice, but
3 is even better.
good putt. If you're just joining us, we're at the 15th hole here at TPC Sawgrass, 449-yard par 4. Frank, what's in store here?
One of the prettiest tee shots on the golf course, Rich. Once again, you're coming out of a chute of trees, big bunker down the right side. Really, you want to hug that right side, though. It gives you a better entry into this green.
Pretty good drive here.
Another straight one.
Excellent start off the tee. That's a great way to begin this hole. Frank, you think about the great rivalries in sports, the Yankees and the Red Sox, Ollie and Frazier, and in golf, Nicklaus and Palmer. Great athletes, great teams pushing one another to great heights.
It's amazing how that's gone forward too, because Nicklaus and Palmer really became Nicklaus and Watson. Then there was like Norman Faldo, but some would say that Faldo by Asteris, 6 majors to 5 was even more important. But in this era that we're in now, I think we're all praying for that Woods-McIlroy rivalry. Woods with 14 majors, McIlroy already with 4. That really is one to celebrate over.
Doing what needs to be done. You need to make them from that distance. Frank, fans watching, they love excitement in the game. 16's an exciting hole, isn't it?
Well, that's where you get it, because you hear the roars. You start to see the big crowds that go all the way around 16, 17, and 18T. You feel where you are in the tournament, too. A movement that starts at 16 can be carried all the way to the clubhouse.
She had a good shot off the tee, and now she has all sorts of options available. Let's see what she does here. Set up in the fairway, 200 yards from here. Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. Big swing right there, and a great result. And now a chance for a big swing in momentum with an even coming up. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. A huge momentum shift with the eagle. Oftentimes in golf, we'll say it's man against man, man against nature. And here's a good example. 1998 at the Players at the TPC Sawgrass, Steve Lowry was playing the 17th hole, the famous Island Green. Hit his tee shot right on the putting surface. And guess what happens? Here comes a seagull, swoops down, snatches up Lowry's ball, flies away, and drops it in the water. Too bad, Steve. Actually, he got to replace his ball on the green. Superb shot.
Well, that's as good as it's going to get. There's going to be no worries about making that one. Second shot.
People always talk about 17 being visually intimidating. Frank, what about 18?
If there's a little bit of wind off the right, the tee shot is so much easier. But if that wind is coming off the water, not only do you see the water and the wooden bulkheads, you see all the rough and the trees on the right. And, of course, then you start bringing 5, 6, 7, even 8 into play. That's what makes this tee shot so hard.
Nice long tee shot there and a good lie, Frank. Now the approach shot here to 18, just one last good swing, Frank.
There's a little false front here that you have to avoid, so something that pitches over that right bunker that lands a good 10 or so yards on this green is certainly the desired goal.
Excellent shot to within 10 feet. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. Okay, no problem with that one. Frank, that was just a dazzling display of golf today.
It's amazing how a game at times that can be so hard and just absolutely drive you crazy can appear to be so simple. This was just an absolute joy to watch today.
So that'll do it for Frank Nobilo and our entire team. I'm Rich Lerner. Until next time. Now to the final hole here at TPC Sawgrass, 462-yard par 4. Frank, is this one of the toughest finishing holes in the sport?
It is, because the simple reason you've played 17 holes and the job isn't done yet.
EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents Practice Round coverage. We are here at TPC Sawgrass in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. Rich Lerner, pleased as always to be alongside Frank Nobilo for EA Sports, set to bring you all the action. Frank, what are the keys to success around the stadium course?
Staying dry is one thing, Rich. Water is everywhere. It's tempting, it's punishing. And also remember, ever since this golf course was established back in 1980, we've seen every type of player win this, from the straight to the long. But the only common denominator out of all the champions that have graced this great golf course is nerve and the ability to finish. Rich, that awkward-looking tee shot where you want to sort of sneak it down the left side, but it runs out there. Then if you take it too much over the right, well, there's rough over there as well. That's a sneaky one to start off the first hole. Oh, I like that.
Excellent opening tee shot. That ball's right in the fairway. Frank, what's the best way to get at this first hole?
Ideally, you want to go with a short iron. Makes it easier to keep the ball on the right level.
Seems to like it. Looks like it's headed for the green. What a shot. I mean, almost in. And this would be nice. 2 straight birdies. 1 under early in the round. Second hole here at Sawgrass, 532-yard par 5. Frank, considered one of the easier holes on the golf course, is that right?
Yeah, you don't have to hit it miles down there. Anything that turns a little to the player's left certainly helps. There are some trees down the left side. Just want to avoid those.
She's ended up on the fairway, and it's such a good lie. So many more options available now. Second from an excellent lie.
Surely not.
She is making it look easy. Another excellent approach shot. Getting set now over the putt. Starting to feel it now. 3 under. Frank, break down the par 3 third for us.
A big ridge in the middle of this green. Really have a front section and a back section. That front bunker, the one that you first see off the tee, that really doesn't come into play. But there's a sneaky one behind the flag and down the left side. Really good par 3.
Beautiful shot. That is tight.
Unbelievable. That is one to savor for the rest of the round.
She's played some solid golf today. See if she can keep it going with another birdie. Yeah, here we go. Starting to roll now. 4 under with that birdie. So much focus here, Frank, on 16, 17, and 18. Number 4 is a hole that gets overlooked, but it's a fun one.
Yeah, the second shot here is more daunting, especially when that flag's on the left. So you really do start looking at that blue stuff, water. There's always advantage of hitting it further than most, Rich, and straighter than most. When you put the two together, it's just straight up a head start.
Stuffed that one in there just inside of 5 feet. Well done. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Now to the 5th. This long par 4 thought to be one of the most difficult holes on the front side here at the TPC Sawgrass.
If you've got plenty of length in the bag, you can almost take it directly over the bunker on the right. But if you're not as long, you have to air down that left side.
Excellent looking shot here. What a tremendous display of power and precision. Frank getting set for the second shot here at the 5th. What's the best way to go at it?
Rich, it's one of the hardest par 4s on the golf course. There's nothing wrong with aiming right at the middle of the green here. You can certainly putt to where the flag is from there.
This is a good-looking shot. What a shot. Perfectly placed right next to the hole. Frank, this would jumpstart the round. A 3rd straight birdie.
Some good playing.
Back-to-back birdies and 6 under par. Hole number 6, 393 yard. Par 4. What's in store for us here, Frank?
Another one really where you're just trying to poke it down there. When you stand on that back tee, there's an overhanging limb that you just get an eye of. So if you try and hit that ball a little too low, that's going to encourage a miss hit.
That is tasty looking right there, Frank. Just a perfect spot in the fairway.
That is prime real estate. How do you get a lie like that? Seriously, you could hit any club from there.
Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. And getting ready for the putt. Now to 7 under par. Frank, the 7th hole here at the TPC Sawgrass, vintage Pete Dye, isn't it?
It is. Anything other than straight confuses the player off the tee. But there's 3 pot bunkers down the right side. Just inside that last little pot bunker on the left of that. It's actually a pretty good line. Oh, that's fine.
Good strike, good lie, good chance to attack the pin. Frank, there's a real art to putting a good score on the board, isn't there?
Yeah, that's why stroke play is so tough, Rich. You're trying to minimize everything on a golf course, turn a 6 into a 5 or a 4 into a 3. It's like even off the edge of a green, trying to get up and down in 2 rather than 3. And you've got to do it for 18 straight holes, straight holes. If it's a 72-hole tournament, then you've got to do it for 4 straight days. And that's why that's always been the best predictor of our best players, the ones that can go 4 days and make the least number of mistakes.
Frank, 17 here at TPC Sawgrass gets all the attention when you look at the par 3s, justifiably so. But number 8 is a daunting challenge in its own right.
It is. Longest of the 4 par 3s. Plus, it's just littered with bunkers around the side, the back, and the front.
stuffed it in there really close, and now just to tap in. These putts keep the round together. Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie, and what a day it's been. Frank, what do you make of the final hole here on the front side, the 583-yard par 5 ninth?
Just depends on how much you want to risk here. If you hit a good drive down the right side, it's certainly gettable for 2, but you can make an absolute mess here at 9. Ah, nice.
Looks good. A great way to start a hole, nicely placed in the fairway. Second shot coming up here at the par 5. Certainly had enough power, just didn't have any touch. Set to go. Not an easy shot by any means. Chance to close out the front side here with a birdie. Frank, this is one of the great displays of golf I've seen all year long. This would be a 7th straight. Well, there's impressive, and then there's mind-boggling. We're at mind-boggling now. 10 under par. Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back.
Pretty good drive here.
Another straight one.
Looks to be a good setup going into the green here at the 10th. Second shot now at the 10th, and again, Frank, accuracy is at a premium.
Yeah, gone are the days to sort of thrash it out of the trees like Phil Mickelson. Ideally, coming out of that fairway, you're hitting to a green that moves to the right, so that makes it a little bit more difficult than what the mind's eye first sees. You're safely on deck.
What a display of shot-making this has been, Frank.
That incredible approach shot there. The easiest of birdies coming up.
She's regarded as an excellent putter. Give another chance for a birdie. Score that, a birdie. Let's go to the 11th. Now, it's a par 5 and a fun hole, Frank. You can make anything from 3 to 7 here.
And that's why, as the start of the back 9, especially on a Sunday, this becomes such a pivotal hole to start a run. Big body of sand down the left side that sometimes the longer hitters can get close to with the tee shot, but really it's the second shot. If you can reach this par 5 and 2, it's a very narrow green. The layout, well, it's actually an awkward layout, Rich, because you've got to push that ball to the left side, almost like a zigzag approach.
Well, you can hear it right off the center of the club face. This has a chance to be close. That is just an outstanding shot right there. And now a chance for an eagle. Settles in over the putt. I mean, almost hard to believe. 13 under already. Up now, hole number 12. It's a short one, 358 yards, par 4.
This can catch you off guard. If you just try and hit the ball on the fairway, if you are in the middle of the fairway, the left side, you will have a blind second shot. So ideally, hit it down that right side of the fairway if you want to see the flag.
Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up. It's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars from where that ball is.
That is classy.
They had a chance of going in.
Good putt. Hole number 13 here at Sawgrass. Tricky 181-yard par 3.
You don't have to hit directly at this flag. When that flag's at the back there, you can use the contours. When it's on the left, once again, you can use the ridge in the middle of the green. Matter of fact, one of the hardest hole locations is when it's in the front right, because that's when you have to be perfect.
Seems to like it. Looks like it's headed for the green. Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Drops it in for birdie. 14th hole, 481-yard par 4, ranking second in difficulty, Frank.
Yeah, this one always gets overlooked, Rich. You've only got to flick the drive a little left, and all of a sudden your round just gets completely wrecked. Ask Vijay Singh. It cost him a Players' Championship. Many a player there has dealt with that left side. You will pay the price.
Couldn't ask for too much better here. Frank, there's a lot to factor in on this approach at the 14th.
You can favor right side of this green and sort of allow the contours of the green just to move that ball to the left.
Appears to be tracking well. Midway through this back nine, could use this birdie here at the 14th. Frank, 2 is nice, but
3 is even better.
Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Back to the TPC Sawgrass, the 15th hole. It's a par 4 as we make our way to this finishing stretch. And Frank, what's in store for the players here?
Another one of those par 4s around 450 yards. Ideally, hit it tee shot down the right side, keeping it away from that bunker. But that's a flat bunker down the right with no lip, so it's still not too bad. Biggest problem here is that green. So many undulations on this green.
It's nice to roll in a 25-footer now and then. Those feel good. But still, there's nothing like hitting that perfect tee ball. Long and straight.
Yeah, you can puff out your chest, last to play, the advantage, holes shorter. Basically, the list goes on.
What a shot. Perfectly placed right next to the hole. That's the idea. Just knock it in. And if you're a couple of shots behind on Sunday, that final round, you're thinking about 3, and that's possible, isn't it?
Well, history's shown it has, Rich. Tom Weiskopf was one of my idols growing up. I loved the way he swung. That swing right there reminds me of my idol.
And it looks like Rory McIlroy, Frank, sticking the follow-through. Nice position, short grass, second shot.
Hazard?
Maybe wet. Couldn't have done much better than that. An eagle is very possible. Getting set now over the putt. A huge momentum shift with the eagle. If you're wondering, and I know you are because we're at the 17th, 44 balls in the water here in 2013, 28 in 2014.
That's when the wind laid down, Rich. If the wind gets up, that number will escalate.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. On the green, and a chance for birdie. People always talk about 17 being visually intimidating. Frank, what about 18?
If there's a little bit of wind off the right, the tee shot is so much easier. But if that wind is coming off the water, not only do you see the water and the wooden bulkheads, you see all the rough and the trees on the right. And of course, then you start bringing 5, 6, 7, even 8 into play. That's what makes this tee shot so hard.
Good strike, good lie, good chance to attack the pin. Superb shot.
Well, it's as good as it's going to get. There's going to be no worries about making that one.
Continues to roll the ball very well. Now to the 18th hole here at TPC Sawgrass. 462-yard par 4, Frank, and another example of visual intimidation from the designer, Pete Dye.
Those wooden bulkheads that go all the way down the left side of 18 give you like an optical illusion, Rich. And there's not a single fairway bunker on the right to give you something.